Texas Motor Speedway is won by South Boston, Virginia's Jeff Burton. What a job.
Burton is out of shape, but he holds on, and he'll win the Bank of America 500. This one is all about Jeff Burton.
Here is Jeff Burton crossing the finish line and winning the Las Vegas 400.
Checkered flag in sight. Jeff Burton wins.
That's what a round race is all about right there, boys. Good job.
His first Southern 500 win. He also won here in the spring, so he has the clean sweep at Darlington in 1999.
To me, what makes Darlington great for drivers and fans is that it's really hard. It's a very difficult racetrack, and you can see it. You can see the drivers right against the wall. You can see them having to change lanes, and it's always changing. And as it's changing from a driver, you're having to make those adjustments. But the fans can see the driver making that adjustments, and I think that track more than anywhere else shows how hard it is to drive a race car.
So you got to look at Darlington. That was the first super speedway that Cup started running. The deal was that it was the biggest race of the year. So like Daytona is now, it was then. Anybody you talk to in racing, they want to win Darlington. They want to win Daytona naturally. But Darlington's probably next on their list just because it's such a tough racetrack. You know, I ran down there for years and years. I finally won 3 races in 2 years, and then none before that or none after. But I always liked the Darlington. It suited the way I drove. I just didn't have a lot of good luck there. But again, it was so demanding, not just on the driver, but it was so demanding on the car. The grooves changed as the cars changed. So they run a completely different groove and stuff now than what we used to run just because of the way the cars are. So people had to learn the racetrack, but then they got to learn the cars to fit that racetrack. So Darlington's always going to be a very important part in any driver's history.
You know, when you walk through the tunnel at Darlington and it has all the winners on the wall in there, it's the who's who of the sport. And I think that'll continue. The Southern 500 and winning at Darlington will always be up here for the crew chiefs, the drivers, the car owners, the people that know this sport. It'll always be big. The Daytona 500 is clearly the Daytona 500, and it is our biggest race. But if I never won a Daytona 500, and if you came to me and said, I'll give you a Daytona 500 for one of your Darlington wins, I'm not taking it. I'm keeping my Darlington wins.
When he signed up with Jack Roush and got Buddy Parrott as the crew chief, Jeff Burton's stock went way, way up.
I was so fortunate when Jack Roush started the 99 car. He chose me and Buddy Parrott to do it. And the reason I was fortunate is because Buddy, number one, was so much fun. Like we worked all the time, but we had so much fun doing it. I really wanted to be involved in the car. Like I really wanted to know what springs and shocks, and like I really wanted to be involved in that. Well, that's stepping on his toes a little bit, but he was willing to let me do it. We had one argument sitting on a pit wall at Bristol Motor Speedway between practice and qualifying. He wanted to move the trailer and arms, and I didn't want to. And I left, and when I came back, the trailer and arms were moved, and I was mad. And that was the only argument we ever had. We still laugh about it today. The greatness in Buddy was that he let me fail. He would put a cautionary thing out there and say, Jeff, you might want to consider this. But if I was dead set on something, he would support it. He would let me fail, and then he would come back and say, okay, what did we learn? And most crew chiefs don't have that patience. You know, they just don't. But he wouldn't do it in a way that made you feel bad. He would do it in a way that, you know, he'd laugh at you or laugh with you. That was the beauty in Buddy, is just get the most out of your people and make sure that they knew they were part of a team, and we're going to have fun no matter what.
Yeah, Buddy was my crew chief when I won the 199th and the 200th race. The 199 really didn't mean a whole lot. It was just another race as far as he was concerned. But that was the first one we won together. But when we won that 200th race, like going to the moon or something. But the main deal was he put the crew together. He put the crowd together and said, okay, you drive the car. I'm not going to tell you how to drive. And the deal with Buddy was that he was using the same cars that we had built here at Petty Enterprise. So I knew the cars. From that standpoint, I don't think we ever had an argument. If we did, he kept it to himself. But the big deal, he knew what needed to be done, and he knew what people to put together. Buddy was the main deal to win the last 2 races I won.
The difference between drivers and legends is clearly the success, but how you get the success is what matters. And I think it's different in every generation. Like, I think that the way you raced is different than the way racing happens today. And that doesn't mean either one's better, it's just different, and things evolve. In your given time, when it's your moment to have success, it's those bad days where you claw something out and you make something happen. That's the difference between, in my eyes, and look, obviously being able to win, clearly, but the more times you run 5th, the more chances you have to win a race. And there's a lot of days your car may not be good enough to run 5th, but you find a way to do it.
Thanks for coming by, man. I enjoyed that. I learned a lot.
I doubt that, but I always, man, it's always great to spend time with you, and this industry is blessed with all the things you've done, and we're blessed that you're still around the racetrack almost every weekend. It's just awesome to have you at the racetrack.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.